Once upon a time, a certain booktuber forgot to charge his video camera overnight prior to filming. Will that video camera's battery last as long as it takes to film this? Let's find out. Well, congratulations are in order before we get started today to some of my very favorite booktubers out there. Some of them hit milestones over the last week or two that I wanted to recognize before we get too far into this video. First off is my good friend Christopher Navo, who hit 1,000 subscribers, so congrats, Chris. Second is Kayla from Kay's Hidden Shelf. She hit 1,500 subscribers. Congratulations, Kay. The next up is my good buddy Andrew over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads. He hit 5,000 subscribers. And of course, our friend Josh over at Red Fury Books just hit 5,000 subscribers recently as well. I wanted to publicly shout them all out. They're just great. They've supported BookTube along the way, and I felt like it's kind of a fun idea here before we start some of our videos that when friends of the channel hit certain milestones, I want to make it a point that we recognize them. So if you happen to not be subscribed to their channels, I do have them in the description. You can check them out. It's great stuff. If you watched the last episode of BookTube, we talked about my February TBR, and it's quite daunting. So for today's video, what I want to do is not so much share with you what I'm going to read, because I've already done that, but give you a little bit of a progress report on where we've gone so far here in the first 5 days of February, and also to tell you about some exciting announcements that I have for programming content for the month of February and beyond here on the channel. So this was the book that I started off the month with. I'm loving it so far. It's absolutely everything that I hoped it would be. I'm about 15 to 20% into Shogun right now. It's reading really fast. One of the cool parts about this book for me is, as I've mentioned before, I've been doing Duolingo now for I think 611 or 612 consecutive days of their Japanese course. And there are a lot of Japanese phrases that the Japanese people are speaking to each other in the book Shogun. And I'm understanding a lot of the key words that they're speaking to each other. So that's kind of a fun extra bonus. But so far, Shogun for me has been exactly as advertised. I'm totally loving it. I can't wait for the series to come out, I believe on FX at the end of February. But so far, so good. This month has started off a lot better than last month's DNF Challenge. As far as Audible goes, I finished up book 10 in Cradle, which is Reaper. Now, I have to say I'm a little concerned because a lot of people told me that Reaper is the best of the series, and I found it to be kind of just okay. It's better than most of the books in the series, but if you're pretty familiar with the channel here, I've been kind of mid on Cradle as a progression fantasy series to begin with. If that's the best we're going to get, I'm a little nervous for books 11 and 12, but I'm starting Dread God today, which is book 11. If I finish Dread God pretty quick, which I kind of think that I will, I'll probably go right into Waybound and finish off the Cradle series so I can come back to you guys and report what I thought as a whole in its totality of Cradle. At this point, I think I just kind of want to get it wrapped up. There were some books in the series that I really do think are good, but it is a 12-book series. It's a lot to ask of a reader, and I want to be able to have a full picture from start to middle to finish before I really say, hey, this is something I would recommend for sure, or this is a big maybe, or this is a just did not work for me series. And it's kind of crazy, but with only 2 books left, I'm still not sure where I fall on this series. And that's not really a great sign, I don't think, but stay tuned and we'll find out. I also wanted to let you know that on Friday, February 9th at 12:30 Central Time, I'm going to be on Britain's podcast. So I'll have a link in the description to his channel, and I think it's called Britain's Podcast Hour or Hanging with Britain, or I think it's Hanging with Britain. Anyway, I'll put it up here, whatever the name is. And he's been real supportive of what we do here. He's just a really nice guy, and I'm looking forward to talking to him. So I don't run into people his age that much. He's considerably younger than I am. So it ought to be an interesting conversation. I think he's extremely well read for the point in life that he's at. So 12:30 Central Time on Friday, check out that podcast. I'll be on it. We did a community poll in the community tab, and if you're not participating in those, they're a lot of fun, by the way, where I asked the community to name the series of live streams that we're going to have here. And wouldn't you know it, by around about a 55% vote over everything else, the name For Whom the Bell Tolls, that sounds a little ominous, right? That's going to be the name of our live stream, at least starting out. And the series is basically going to be where I've invited several booktubers to get started for one-on-one interviews where I want to ask them some deep questions about not only why they're doing what they're doing on BookTube, but hopefully to try to delve into their personality a little bit and bring out maybe some new information that you don't already know about them. As I mentioned on one of the earlier videos, Mike from Mike's Book Reviews will be one of our first guests on For Whom the Bell Tolls. But in the meantime, I've also locked in 3 other guests. We're going to have Bryce from Shelf Centered. We're going to have Tori from Tori Talks. And we're going to have Dr. Philip Chase from Dr. Philip Chase's The Best of Fantasy, all coming on For Whom the Bell Tolls. I will put out a schedule both in the community tab and on X and on all my social medias, which you can find in the description, on specific dates when we're going to do those live streams. So if you'd like to participate in the chat, you can do so. I'm going to try to not make it an ask me anything type of a thing to see how it goes, but we still do want to have some live chat interaction. So I'll give you plenty of heads up. You can join us and add to the conversation. There are 3 videos that I want to do in February that are a little bit different than kind of the weekly wrap-ups. And one of them is going to be 5 books that you can read in a day. They're not necessarily novellas, although some of them are. But I think that there's a lot of people out there that sometimes the look of a big giant book or these big giant epic series get a little bit intimidating. So I thought 5 books that you can read in a day might make for some interesting content. Another video that I've been asked to do are my top 10 favorite trilogies. This is going to be a really fun video to make. I was maybe even going to do this one today too, but as I started to compile the list, I started to remember some things that I hadn't already included. And I said, you know what? I ought to maybe take my time a little bit more for this because I don't want to do my top 10 trilogies list more than once a year. So if you will allow me a little bit more time, I really want to lock this thing in, not do a million honorable mentions, but you can look for that coming in February. And another video that I want to do, and it's really a video that I've kind of done already, but I want to add to it. One of the top performing videos on BellTube is my 5-star standalone novels. Actually, I made 7, but the video is called 5 Standalones. I'll put it at the end of the video, so if you want to check it out, you can see it. But I kind of want to do another one where it'll probably be called something like 5 More Amazing 5-Star Standalones. The video performed really well, which basically tells me that people like that type of content, and I want to give the people what they want. So I think we're going to do that sometime in February. It'll take me a little bit more preparation because the first one that I did, I basically did right off the top of my head because I knew them so quickly. But this one's going to require me to go back and really review everything I've read and truly decide, hey, is this a 5-star book or is this a 4-star book that I'm only elevating to make a video? And I don't want to do that. So I really want to pick out 5 standouts to do that 5 more 5 great standalone video. So if you saw the Lit RPG starter guide, I offered 1 book on Audible and 1 ebook for anybody that wanted to get started with Lit RPG. I would give them away. I have the Magic Chalice, of which I will draw some names from. This one is going to be for the Audible book, and the winner is... Let's see if I can read this without my glasses. If it cuts away, you'll know that I needed my glasses. And the winner is Big Something Ninja. I can't read my own writing, but I will put it up here. Somehow I'll figure out a way to get in contact with you, but you have won an Audible credit direct from me for a Lit RPG of your selection. Now let's do the written one. Okay, I have refilled the chalice, and this is for the ebook version giveaway of a Lit RPG, and the winner is... The winner is Chris, the writing jester. I love this guy. Chris, I'll somehow find a way to get a hold of you, and I will get you an email of whichever lit RPG book that you want. I'm excited for you to get it. This all brings me to the one for the road of the day, and the one for the road is going to be about opportunity. I made this video of the Lit RPG Starter Guide about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's getting close to about 1,500 views right now. So you would think that there would be a lot of people that would want a free book, whether it be on audio or whether it be a written book, an ebook. And unbelievably enough, hardly anybody entered. I don't know why. We only had like maybe 13 people enter the Audible and like 9 people enter for an ebook. You guys, that's crazy. When you have a video that does 13 or 1,500 or whatever it is, offering something for free, I would suspect a lot more people would want to take advantage of that. And that's the one for the road today. If somebody offers you something for absolute free, even if you don't want it, go for it, because you know what? I bet you know somebody that would. There's no rules here that said, hey, if I win, I can't regift it to somebody else. There's no rules that say, Brian, I could put my name in the hat, and if I win, I would like you to pull another name out and regift it to somebody else, but I want to play along. When you get opportunities, go for it. You don't know what could happen. For all you know, you could have won that drawing, given it away to somebody else, and they would have come back to you with such positive energy, and something good would happen from that. So when these opportunities come around for you in life, not just kind of a silly giveaway, just go for it. You don't know what'll happen. Even if somehow somebody else benefits from you taking advantage of that opportunity, I think in a way you win too. And of course, here's your fortune.